Today we'll be talking about how to use an anchor. An anchor is an element that really is strongly connected to our ventral vagus part of the nervous system. And that simply means it makes us feel good. So if it doesn't feel good, it's probably not a good anchor. Now, there's a lot of different ways of doing this. Okay, sometimes professionals may want to use physical elements as an anchor in the room, items that have meaning for the client. It could be a necklace, a ring, a stone, a photo, and they can work very, very well. I tend to use this one a little bit broader. So, again, it could be a person, an object, an activity, or a place. But the key criteria remains it's got to feel good. Because sometimes what happens is people say, I love this particular person a lot, but I've lost them a year ago. So then when they connect to that person, actually they may be overwhelmed by grief, right? In other words, yes, of course the love is there, but yet it doesn't feel very good. Okay, so it's got to feel good. Now, the way to use an anchor, and you really want to take a little bit of time on this, it's not so much about just finding it and that's it. You want to get very specific. Okay. And how do you do that? Well, first you start with the right use of words. So the word safe can be triggering for some people. And of course, you can talk that through, right, to find a word that does feel okay. So it might be peaceful or calm or regulated or settled. It could be a host of words, but again, it's got to resonate as feeling okay. And then you really want to open that up to find an element that resonates. And then you want to get specific. So rather than saying, for instance, for me, I have a cat named Midnight. So if I say, okay, I love my cat, her name is Midnight, she's great. Well, that isn't overly specific because then if a client gets dysregulated, I know nothing about that cat except the name. So you want to really dive a little bit deeply. So I might say, tell me about Midnight. Right? What is she like? What do you do? Do you have a favorite memory of her or doing something together or something that really made you smile? And again, you want to get specific whilst using, which are appropriate, obviously, the five senses. In other words, do you have a favorite image of her in your mind, or is she purring at all or making any sounds as she does that? Or how does she feel kind of when you stroke her or when you're playing a game with her, and so on. So what that does then is that element gets anchored into our nervous system, if you like. Okay. And again, you can spend 10, 20, 30 minutes. You can spend a whole session of 15 minutes on that. And you want to, as you do that, you're constantly tracking the nervous system. In other words, are they giving cues of safety? Are they smiling or talking quite animated? Or not, right? Again, when there's all those cues of safety, you're probably on the right track. Now, then afterward, what you could consider, but again, that's a very collaborative element. Do we want to test that out with a very minor stressor, very small? And I want to stress that it's a minor stressor. I never, ever test that on a big trauma. Because first we've got to see how does that feel, even that process. So it might be getting stuck in traffic. It might be getting an email from a manager, forgetting to do the groceries, minor stressors. And then only to touch them. We just want to connect maybe for 5 seconds, and then we move back to the anchor and notice that shift in the nervous system to say, can we connect a little bit to the stress, but then instantly already can we shift back and spend a little bit of time there again. Okay, let me know how you get on. And as always, use your clinical supervision and trauma training to do any piece of work just to make sure that that is ethical.